I'm Brooke with MeetRx Success Stories, and I'm so happy today to have Jake and Amber on. Jake is a physician in Arizona, um, and they're going to share with us their own personal success story with the carnivore diet. Good to see you guys,
Great to see you, Brooke. Thanks for having us.
and thank you so much for sharing with us. So let's just get started. I'm really curious what brought you to the carnivore diet and how's it changed your life?
Well, yeah, I've been interested in nutrition. I say I. We've been interested in nutrition as kind of a hobby for years and years, and we started making some small adjustments, 10, 15 years ago as a family, trying to move in a direction that we thought was healthier for us and our children. And then slowly that led towards me being mostly ketogenic in terms of the types of foods that we were eating. And then I was kind of, while I was listening to one of the podcasts on ketogenic, it started talking about Sean Baker, who previously had been my partner. We were good friends when we were in Albuquerque together. Back in 2006 to 2008, we were in the Air Force out there together and did a lot of things together. Neither one of us were really into nutrition, at least not overtly, but we were both eating kind of healthy and both doing our own exercise type program. You know, Sean was doing the heavy lifting stuff and the explosive stuff, and I was doing endurance athletics. But since that time, we'd been not really kept in touch very well. And but they were talking about Sean on this podcast, and I decided I'd give him a call and find out what was going on, what he was into, because he clearly was making a name for himself in the nutrition community. And then started talking to Sean, and he told me he was doing the carnivore thing, and I hadn't heard much about it at the time. This was about 2 years ago. And then we started talking to Sean and reading some of the literature and looking into it and started dabbling with it ourselves. And now over the last, year plus, we've been almost entirely carnivore, transitioned from a ketogenic type diet to a mostly carnivore diet. And then felt great. I like eating the carnivore lifestyle. I think it's a little easier to try to figure out what you're going to eat. And there are lots of things I like about it, but that's how we got here. And I've been pretty happy with where we are right now.
So you were keto for some years first. Is that?
Yeah, we were keto and didn't know we were keto. We had taken processed sugars out of our diet.
Breads
and all breads
breads.
and just mostly doing, green leafy vegetables and protein with a little bit of fruit here and there. Drank smoothies for a while, like the world was doing about 5 or 6 years ago. And then all of a sudden we started hearing all the keto stuff, and we're like, yeah, we're already doing this. Let's just tweak it a little bit. And then when we went to carnivore, it was the way to go. Just much easier. And we felt better, and a lot of things just started falling into place physically, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So athletically, did you see improvements in your athletic performance?
So I'm not a competitive athlete like Sean or Zach or any of these guys.
He's competitive in his own right, though.
I'm a recreational athlete. What I have noticed on the carnivore, I don't really measure my times. I don't compete enough that I measure my times, but I have found that I feel better. I feel great. I feel healthy, and I don't feel run down at all on the eating meat and mostly turning my body into a fat burning machine. I think has been helpful for me. I will say the one thing that I can definitively attribute to changing to the carnivore lifestyles, when I used to compete, I would eat a lot of the goos and other sugary things during the competition, and I would always have a lot of stomach cramping and problems with that. And so my answer to that at the time was, well, I need to eat more during training so that I could my body could process the calories when I was competing. I would be done with a triathlon, you know, a 3-hour triathlon, Olympic type length, and my legs and my arms would be fine, but my stomach would be hurting so bad
You'd be wrecked for days.
Yeah, it was tough. So changing to a more fat burning mode has been really good on my stomach. I used to eat, I kept a bottle of antacids in my office, and also some like Pepto-Bismol, because I would often have stomach issues in terms of I would have to eat many times throughout the day. Even when I was doing keto, I would have to eat something, you know, every few hours to try to keep my stomach full so I wouldn't get a lot of acid in there. And since I've transitioned to a carnivore approach, I haven't taken an antacid in 2 years, and my stomach has never hurt, and it doesn't bother me when I compete. So anyway, those are kind of the health things that I think have been pretty obvious for me.
For me, when I'm working out, it's I run and do light weightlifting 5 days a week, and I'm not sore as much. I can tell if I cheat and eat something that's not on the carnivore diet, like I can feel it very distinctly the next day, like, oh, dang it, I'm not processing as efficiently. But yeah, the soreness is gone, and you're just, you know, we eat about twice a day, and, you know, get up in the morning and work out and then eat at lunch. So, you know, like there's not like that starving feeling that you get, which I don't miss at all, that I have found when we've been on carnivore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
way just stable blood sugar, where my blood sugar was all over everywhere. And now just, it's really nice to work out and then be able to go to the grocery store on the way home from the gym and not be just ravished when I get home, or make bad choices buying things in the grocery store, you know?
Yeah, sounds like recovery is, I mean, it's such a great thing with carnivore recovery with any athletic and, you know, pursuit. And then, yeah, not being hangry anymore when you, that's such a nice thing too.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, Jake, with your probably, I'm guessing, kind of grueling schedule as an orthopedic surgeon, whether you've noticed anything difference for your, you know, for clarity or any kind of neurological improvements with carnivore for you.
I can't say that I know people have talked about better mental clarity, and I'm not sure that I've noticed any difference from that standpoint. But Amber's talked about it.
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, I'm not working. I work at home, but I don't have any of the hours that he has. But when we moved to Arizona from Las Vegas, it was a very stressful time, and I started noticing I was like forgetting things, and that was very stressful to me. I remember we cried a lot. I'm like, I'm getting Alzheimer's and I'm 40. And anyway, that's been something that I have been super grateful for on carnivore, is that my mind is just sharp as a tack, and I can recall things that I thought I'd lost. And
she remembers names and places and things that I have to dredge, you know, up with a lot of difficulty. So.
Yeah, so definitely increased cognitive or restored cognitive abilities. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. How many children do you guys have?
We have 5.
5. Yeah, that's a busy schedule.
Yeah, the oldest are 20 down to 14.
Youngest will be a freshman next year.
Yeah.
And do they eat carnivore with you?
They do mostly eat carnivore with us. We haven't like forced them on this diet. We let them do what they want. We do have some like chips in the house or whatever when we're having hamburgers, and we just eat the hamburgers. And you know,
they'll usually, some of them will eat a bun and some of them
won't. You know, food is a very social thing for people. And we have noticed that our diet kind of makes us a little bit weird, and we don't want our kids to have that additional weirdness unless they choose it. And so they you know, we're not like, oh, if you go to a party, you can't eat that, or if you go to your friends, we know they're going to go to their friends and eat a bowl of sugar cereal because that's what we did growing up. But it's one of those things where they definitely know they feel better when they eat keto and or eat carnivore and just to not eat the carbs. They feel better. And our oldest ones, though, our 20-year-old twins, they are doing carnivore and they're great. Love it.
That's awesome. What a great opportunity for them to, start their life out with a, nutrient dense fortified diet.
And it's so simplified in college. I mean, and there it's like, oh, it's expensive. No, it's really not that expensive. And you're not wasting food. And there's definitely a lot of benefits to it.
A lot easier to figure out what your meal prep is gonna look like.
Meal planning is super easy.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I was a wrestler in high school and I boxed in college, and during all that time I was cutting weight, eating the wrong kinds of things. I remember in high school I thought that, well, a potato is the best sort of nutrition, and the information that we had back then was really poor in terms of nutritional information. If I think back, if I would have known the things that I know now, I could have been so much stronger and have more energy. I mean, I remember as a wrestler in high school, just always feeling just run out because I was angry because I was eating very little, and what I was eating were the wrong kinds of things. I'd eat a baked potato for lunch and that's all I would have for the day. Maybe some grapefruit for breakfast. And it's just a terrible diet for muscle development and strength and energy. But now I just have tons of energy. Anyway, I wish I had known the things that I know now. I wish I'd known then on many levels, but especially on nutrition.
Yeah, I understand that completely. I'm curious, are you able to, or in what ways, or are you able to influence your patients with your diet perspective?
That's a hard thing for a couple of reasons. Number one, most of my patients come in to see me and they look at me and I'm, fairly athletic and fit, and often for them that means, oh, that's a different kind of person. They've got different genetics, which is true. We all have different a different hand of cards that we've been dealt, and we just got to play them the best that we can. So it's difficult, but I do have some patients that are interested, and I will touch on the issues of nutrition and diet with all of my patients. And I say, look, diet and lifestyle play a big factor in your arthritis or in your injury or in your healing from this. And I would recommend you do these things. I have a handout that talks about diet and nutrition. And it's interesting. It's my nutrition and wellness handout. And Amber helped me write it because I felt like I couldn't get the information out there. You start having these conversations and all of a sudden they want to tell you about their grandma who is overweight and their aunt who is overweight, and it's genetics or all the things that they've done, and which really makes it hard for me to go see the next patient and take care of, since I don't have the 30 minutes to sit there and talk to them. So I designed a handout that discusses some of my philosophies on nutrition, and it cites different podcasts, and Sean's podcast is one of them, and some others that can help them get more information. And I hand it to them as kind of this is my introduction. If you're interested in discussing this, let's talk about this more. But look through this stuff and see what it has. And I have some patients that have taken that and really transformed it and made some big changes. More often than not, I think they look at it and think, oh, well, these are good ideas, and they don't really make changes. But some of them, who haven't made big changes have still at least made small adjustments in their lifestyle. They'll come back later and I'll say, okay, how are you doing as far as, my usual question is, how are you doing as far as your weight control and your diet? And some of them say, well, I've kind of cut out this or made these small tweaks, even if they haven't made large adjustments. I think even small changes over time will make a difference.
Yeah, that's great. That's what a great offering you have for them with that handout. Because sometimes people aren't ready then, but maybe later.
Yeah, right. Put the information in their hands and give them some resources where they can find information that's really helpful instead of the usual information that we've been taught as far as, the food pyramid and all the other bad science that's out there.
It's interesting, just because this has been a hobby for our family for so long, we're active, and people ask us often about what we're doing and what we're eating and how we're exercising, and that and Jay touched on it when he was talking about the time that he had with his patients. So much of what people put in their mouths is what's going on psychologically in their minds, and to tell them you have to get rid of all of this and this and this and this, it's like saying to a 3-year-old, you have to get rid of your teddy bear and your blankie and your thumb sucking. Food is the grown-up thumb sucking and version of it, and it's as much a mental and emotional and sometimes even spiritual thing that is going on inside of people. And that's one of the great things about the carnivore diet is, well, first of all, I'm super grateful to the Meat RX community, because it's providing the support that that women especially need in this kind of food transition in their lives. But eating carnivore provides such an emotional stability. It just calms all the hormones. It calms all the emotions. It creates just a sense of really good well-being, that it helps you to get through, once you get past the initial urge to just be constantly putting food in your mouth. There's such an emotional stability that is provided. And that's something that outside of his practice that we're able to provide people often, quite a bit, is just to, encourage them, educate them, because we all grew up on the food pyramid, and so educating and we do a lot more of it outside almost than he can inside his practice.
Yeah, I have a couple of personal friends that asked me to help coach them, essentially. And one of them lost over 100 pounds. He's a friend here who's a dentist, and he kind of made some big lifestyle changes, and he's starting to he kind of slid back into some other things, and
we're pulling back.
These are the you can have a little bit of an influence on people around you, because they see what's working and they ask for ideas, and that's the opportunity. People are really ready to learn when they are seeking the knowledge. When you are providing the knowledge or providing unsolicited feedback, nobody's really going to learn from that environment very much. When they are seeking it, though, it's really when it's most beneficial.
Well, that's great. What great role models you are for the diet and for healthy lifestyle and family style. I think that's really an awesome offering you're giving your community, your patients too, and your family, your kids.
Trying to do some of the right things.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing it with us. It's really great to see you guys, such a team. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
And I think it's going to help a lot of people on their own healing journey.
Doing it together, I think, is definitely.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have a team approach, a partnership.
Yeah.
Makes it easier.
It helps.
But, many people don't have the kind of partnership that we have, and we recognize that. It doesn't mean you can't do it. But it's nice to have a community. Meat RX maybe fills that role for some people who don't have a partner, that is on the same page as they are.
Yeah, certainly we're here to support. And there's a lot of support given with all those meetings all day long. It's great.
It's great.
In the carnivores, I like to call it. Our carnivores, that's growing.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, thanks again, you guys. I really appreciate it. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. You too.
And hear your story. And I'm sure that a lot of other people are going to, like I said, really get something out of that too.
Well, it's been fun talking to you, Brooke.
Yeah, thanks. We'll hope to meet you in person soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.